Hola, buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Okay, I'm here with Araneae, obviously. I'm going to do one of my reflections series with him. And so the place I want to start with you is actually somewhere that I never hear anyone in interviews talk with you about. They always talk about SK, they talk about now with Alternate. No one ever mentions when you were in this Na'Vi team. Because actually, when this Na'Vi team was created, it was like, people will look at it now and they won't know any of the names because none of those names really play anymore. But at the time, I remember people used to tell me, oh, Citizen Wayne's this really good mid player. They had a few players. I think the top laner was decent as well. Like, what was this team actually like at the time? Was it really in the mix to be a good team?
It was a good team. Like we had Antoine was an AD carry who started playing like League of Legends like some months ago, like 6 months ago, something like that, and he was like really skilled. The super was Sandmanton. He was a German guy, really good as well. Millenium was Citizen Wayne. He was like famous, really famous, like not only solo queue player, he also went to Korea and he was like really famous in Korea. Like I remember Korean TV like took him from some like interviews and some like teaching stuff and coaching stuff, and he was really good. And probably the worst lane was the top lane was Nesrillas, a Danish guy, that he started playing really good, but he like became like not that good at all. And at some point I was like invited to go to Korea like one summer, but I had like some family problems that I couldn't attend there. And I just like said that not to go there, even though like for me Korea is my dream. Like I would like to live for Korea or America, like are the goals for every gamer. And I had to reject the offer to go to Korea, and I just left the team and got to join the team, and it still was a good team, but I don't know why, like after Korea they just like disband. They didn't feel like motivated to keep on.
Because one of the weird things about Europe is it's like a stereotype that we have all the good mids, but really there's so many mids that even people like Tabs can't even play mid. He has to play AD carry now. Extinct had to go and play top lane. It's like there's so many mids we can't even fit them all in teams.
Yep.
Was Citizen Wayne really like as good as a Froggen or an Expect? What was he good like?
He was. I mean, Citizen Wayne had something that no one other had. It was like his champion pool. He was the only guy playing like 6. He was playing like a lot of cartoons, he was playing Gragas, but no one else was playing that champion. Like he was probably like a different kind of Millenium. He was a farming style Millenium, like really like skills on Millenium. He didn't play that kind of easy Milleniums like probably Rise and stuff like that. He was just playing like a skill shot champion. He was like really skilled on them. So I think he was on that time one of the best Milleniums so far.
So one of the things is, everyone's favorite memory when you were in SK was obviously like beat CLGU, get to Worlds. When you first joined that team, okay, you'd already played with Ocelot years back before. Everyone knows at the time, if you were like the jungler for SK, that meant like, you know, how long am I going to be here? Like a month, 2 months? It seemed like they just went through jungle after jungle after jungle. When you joined the team, did you really have the expectation like, I'm going to be in this team full time, we're going to go really amazing?
Well, talking about like the first time in SK, something that people doesn't really know is that I created SK. Yeah. Like till some months ago, the actual team on SK was created by me. I mean, I created like a Spanish team. We started like getting new players, like European players, and the only like Spanish guy remaining in that team was Ocelot. We had like Althor, we have Linak, we have Ocelot, we had Wicked on that time. We had like a lot of like European players, really famous players on that time. And we joined SK because we had an offer. We were winning like every goal for LoL. At that time was the only like important tournament. And after like we joined SK, then I had some trouble with Ocelot. I left the team. Then he invited me again to the team, and I really thought I was going to stay a lot of time on SK since before me. I mean, it's gonna sound a bit cocky or a bit bad, but I have to say like before me, the only good plays that SK did on a single tournament was an IM. I think it was IM New York. They lost in the finals against Fnatic, I think it was. Beside that, they didn't do anything. Even like people is spraying like or Hierarchy Bot or all the junglers in SK so much and say like they're the best compared with me. But when I was in SK, we were second in Europe. Like I have to say that we were the second best team in Europe. We beat CLGU, even though people were saying CLGU had a really bad match. Oh, it's your day. There's nothing more important than that day. And if they fail, it's not my fault. Like at that moment, we were the second best team in Europe. And then we fell against Gambit because, well, obvious reason that people went party till like so late. Sure. So well, I really think we are like second in Europe, and before me and after me, they didn't reach that point. So I'm really happy from my performance on SK. The other point is like after that we went to a Paris tournament on the Tail of the Lion.
Tales of the Lion,
yep.
Sure.
I didn't train because I had like family problems. I had like studies at the same time. And I told them like I'm not gonna be that good because I'm like studying and I'm like with my family, with my brother in the hospital and stuff. And they forced me like to play some kind of champion that I wasn't really confident of playing, and we got destroyed. And all the blame was on me. And then they decided to kick me. for me it was fine. Like I have to join alternate, and my first alternate is really good, and I love my new teammates, so it's all good for me.
So you made this point actually, which is correct, that like the height of SK's point was when you were the jungler for them, and they had all these junglers before, all these junglers after. What did you add?
From my point of view, we had like the best SK at that moment. People were saying like with Snoopy was better, but they only get like one second play as well, and it wasn't against the best. So right with me, it was like against the best European teams, we were like second place. What I add to the team, I think like when I was in SK and Yellowstar as well, like we both are really like brain guys. Like I remember when we were talking about, is it fine or? I'll wait like one.
It's fine, but it's...
Okay, yeah, just keep going.
When we were talking on like strategies and bans and picks and stuff, it was all about like Yellowstar. Me, like the rest of the guys wasn't really like even like talking, just like listening to us. And Yellowstar me was like, let's see what we can do level 1. Let's see what we can pick. Let's see how we can ban and stuff. It was all about like Bora and me. It was really amazing because I really feel like Bora is a great mind and a great brain, and I'm really happy for him that he's now in Fnatic, rocking so much. And also like, I really have to point on the game against CLG. The first game, I guess, is like reminded by everyone, the triple buff level 1. That was like a full strategy made by me and Bora, and it was like perfect made, and I don't know. Like it's pretty much what I bring to a team, like just brain and strategies.
Because the interesting thing about that CLG game is when you first joined SK at the Poland event, ECC Poland, you guys played CLG there, lost in 3 games.
Yeah.
Then you come to this regional finals, you beat them 2-0. I actually looked through all the CLG games when I was writing an article, okay? And even when they tended to lose, the great thing about their team was because they were so consistent, they'd only lose really narrowly. But actually, your team was one of the few that kind of really crushed them. So what approach do you think you had that let you do that to such a great team, you know?
Well, I always like, when we analyzed how CLG was playing, even on Poland, we just felt like they focused so much on Froggen. Like Froggen and Yellow Pit champions like Tristana, like Cockman and stuff like that. So at that point, like our main concern was like, don't let Froggen a single blue buff.
Oh, okay.
And that's what we did. Like the first game, I think like the first 4 blue buff, we got them. Like even like we waste like Gambit ultimate or teleport, just going there to like steal every blue buff. So Froggen being like under farm and not really like pressuring also that was probably the key of our gaming.
You mentioned as well, it's a famous thing that's out there, okay? Because you guys amazingly beat CLG EU and you know you're going to the World Finals already. Even though on paper, yeah, like winning the final of the regionals worth a lot of money, there's a party on the night, people maybe haven't drunk enough water when they arrive the next day. But was it just the fact that you knew you'd gone to Worlds, you knew it was that? Was there a part of you that also felt like we're probably not going to beat Moscow 5?
Actually, it's funny you mentioned this, because we screamed against Moscow 5 before the regionals, before Gamescom, and I think we screamed like, seriously, like 7 games, and every single game ended before minute 15. They surrendered. Like, what we did against CLG, in the first game, the triple buff level 1, we did against Gambit, and I outsmite Diamond like 2 times. It was like, every time we did that, we were like, I don't know, it was like pretty much game over for them. Because then I control full Diamond jungle, and I think like Gambit key is just Diamond, like Diamond control of the jungle, Diamond like knowledge and stuff is the key of Gambit. That together with like Alexis and with Genji positioning, but it's pretty much like Diamond. And at that point that we could like still level 1 buffs and stuff, we were like seriously winning games before minute 20. And we had like a 7-0 against them, and we even like played against them on an SK tournament, like SK Trophy. It was, I don't know if it was like 1,000 something like that. And we beat them as well, like, or 2-1 or 2-0, I don't know. So we were like pretty confident, but then yeah, it's like people partying and stuff, not looking good for us in the finals.
So people always that was the era when Diamond Prox was like the king of jungle, you know, it seemed like even the 1v1 matchups in jungle, he always won them. So what overall, you were describing it a bit there, what do you think the secret to stopping Moscow 5 is? Because I know a lot of teams, they just look at Alexic, okay, because when Moscow 5 is doing awesome, it looks like Alexic is the superstar killing everyone. So you think, how do I shut him down? It sounds like your approach was like, no, you have to shut Diamond down. So what did you do differently to other people? What weren't the others able to figure out? For
me, it's like, what I felt is like, Genji, even though people doesn't consider him, is one of the best AD carries in Europe by far. It's like, he's really, really good. Probably his laning phase is not as good as his position. In team fights, I think he's the best AD carry in the world. Like, his position is perfect. Like, he usually like farm more than trying to like group and stuff, but still his position is perfect. And I think like in lane you can probably shut down Genji easy. Well, not easy, but it's the only way probably to shut down him. And then it's all about probably like Diamond. but still, like, what I felt is like Diamond in offline events, he's even better than in scrims, and that's really scary for everyone. Like, I felt like, for me, it doesn't happen that in offline events, I don't get nervous at all. I've been like playing already so many tournaments, so many years and stuff, but I feel like so many people, when they play scrims and then they go to an offline event, they play like so bad compared with the scrims, so like low level.
So what is Diamond's strengths? What is he good at? I mean, if you look at Insec, okay, it's easy to go, oh, mechanics are amazing.
Yep.
If you look at some other play, you might go, oh, maybe his decision making. What is it about Diamond that stands out?
I would say knowledge and decision maker. Knowledge and decision making. He's really good in all what he does.
Is it true when people say, oh, he's an innovator and stuff? Do you think he really does come up with the new stuff?
Actually, it's gonna be sound cocky again. Like, I don't know. I usually don't like to be like this, but actually, I think I innovated more than him. Like, he brought Karma in the jungle, that's true. But I actually brought to Europe Lee. I brought to Europe Bai. I brought to Europe another one. Elise, I was actually the only one playing. So. Elise, so it's like every champion I'm playing so far is like coming as well. And now I started like this season. I started playing Gragas, and I think Gragas jungle is also really famous. I would like it to play against CLG, but they like, I think it was second rotation or first rotation pick, so I could not pick Gragas jungle. But I still like. I think he's a great, like, innovating stuff and play like a champion that people is not playing. But I think his best point is like he never felt pressure on offline events, and also his knowledge and making decisions is so good.
So one thing, when I looked up like opinions on Araneae, like what do people think he's good at? What's the perception? They said, okay, so like engaging in team fights, like shot calling, but no one mentioned mechanics, okay? But you're saying there, Lee Sin, you're saying Elise. These are considered like mechanically difficult champions. What are your mechanics like, do you think?
I think with Lee, my mechanics are really, really high. Like, I'm really good Lee. Because I've been playing like Lee all my life. Well, not all my life, but every time it's up Lee, even in solo queue or even in Premier, I always like I tend to pick like Lee because it's really comfortable for me to play Lee, and I feel like it's the jungler that has everything. At the same time, like you can pick Lee for like an engage comp, because you can engage with a W on a ward and an ultimate behind him. You can also like defend your AD carry. You can also like pull with him. You can do whatever you want with Lee. It's a jungler that fits in every kind of composition. So I guess with Lee I have like really high mechanics, but with the rest I don't have many mechanics, probably because I need like a lot of games with every champion to be comfortable with. If I have a lot of games, then my mechanics are good.
Because, I mean, to mention two other famous Lee Sin players is obviously Diamond Prox and Insec. When people see them on this one champion, it's a signature for both of them. Is Insec better mechanically? What do you think they're like on? Is there something that differs about how they play it?
Between Insec and Diamond, I would say Insec was really good mechanically, but Diamond knowledge and decision making is like 10 times better than Insec. Not even close. Like, people were prying like Insec so much, but I didn't feel like as a jungler he was that good. I mean, he was mechanically really good, of course. That's why even in top lane he's really good. But still, like, making decision and stuff for Diamond was like so ahead of him.
A lot of people, the funny thing is, they actually downplay the mechanics you need at jungler, because a lot of people, I've heard like St. Vicious and stuff even say, oh, it doesn't matter that my mechanics aren't that good because I'm like a jungler, I just have to have like good decision making, know where to go. Like, how much is mechanics required for a jungler, do you think?
I don't know. I feel like at some point of pro level, the making decision of every jungler is almost the same. It's like, not almost the same, but it's equally, probably. And at that point, if your mechanics are better, you're going to win. Like, for a really short HP, but you're going to win. Like, I saw so many times, like, 2v2s going wall to a team just because the jungler or the top lane is mechanically better than the enemy. And that's something that it's really like, in every game it could happen. So it's risky. Like, if your mechanics are not that good, you could like probably lose that 2v2 or even a gang and stuff. So even though I agree that making decisions is better than jungler, you also need to be mechanically good.
When you rejoined SK just before this period, one of the things I remember seeing you saying in an interview that was interesting was like part of the reason why you'd agreed to join and why you thought it was going to work was because Ocelot had agreed like, okay guys, I'm going to like tone down the streaming a bit. I want to win this tournament. I'm going to all out for this. So then people are going to think when the team then started doing not so well, you left the team, they had problems, etc. Okay, did Ocelot like go back to his old ways? Was he not fully committed to that idea of like, I'm just going to try and be the best player, not the best personality and player? And what do you think of that balance?
Well, actually, like, I told them, like, if you want me to join the team, we have everyone to be like full on this. Like, I don't like to be 100% on the team and people going like 50% or something. So I told Ocelot, like, if he want me to join the team, he has to stop streaming. Like, not stop streaming, but at least like really reduce the time streaming. At the point that he came back to streaming was just right after Gamescom. I asked the team, like, it was August and the World Final was like September. We had like actually like 1 month or something to prepare for World Finals. And I said to the team, like, let's have like this 1 week of break and then 3 weeks straight of boot camp, like training, like it's the most important event ever. People didn't want that. People just like said no, just I need to do stuff, I need to stream and I need to do other stuff. So at the end, for World Finals, like for Gamescom, we had 3 weeks of bootcamp and it was really successful for us. We were on a really good level. And for World Finals, we had 4 days of bootcamp. That's like nothing for 1 million prize money. So with that kind of training, you don't deserve to win even a single match as we did.
This might sound like a strange question, okay? Because I don't want to like generalize about Spanish people, but people remember when you guys did awesome at season 2, like the famous images of you all hugging each other and the energy was really high. But I also get the feeling that means when you lose, like similarly, like it might be like fiery personalities, like clashing heads, whereas, you know, like you think of some of the Scandinavian players, they're very calm the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about this?
It's true, like we are really like hot temperature, hot blood, and every time like we win is like really passionate, but when we lose, like we are also like really mad and stuff. It happened to me like so many times, and that's also like a double-edged sword, because in game it happened the same. Like if we start winning, when my team start winning, we usually win because I motivate so much them, I pump them up so much, like I'm shouting them all, like let's go guys, we're doing this, we're doing all right and stuff, and everyone is so happy that the performance is so good in the team. But when I start like falling or anyone like is failing or anything, my mood is usually not that good, even though like sometimes I try to motivate them. Like I remember when we play against SK, the 6-7 place to go to Gamescom, that we beat them. I remember like minute 2 or 3, Creaton died bottom. That never happened to us on a straight 2v2, like died Creaton level 2. And I was like so afraid. I was like really scared about losing that game. And I told them like, hey guys, don't worry, we're gonna win. But like if you look at my face, I was like completely like, not mad, but I was like completely like dismotivated or like sad, like we're gonna lose this match. But still, like I was trying to motivate my team because that's probably what a team captain has to do.
So when you mentioned before, when you were in SK, it was you and Yellow Star doing the shot calling. I've heard as well, like Yellow Star was the main shot caller there. I heard something along the lines of like, you did like the early game stuff and then he did like the later game. So how did it work in alternate then when it's just you? Are you the only shot caller in alternate? What role do you have there?
Well, actually, like I love to do all the early game. Like I love to like try to work only all the early game for me, and then like mid-late game for me the shot caller should be like either reliable CC or the AD carry or the one who is more fed, you know?
Because like that is.
What?
Why is that?
Well, like I heard like in China or Korea, they have always 2 shot callers. It's AD carry plus someone else. Because like mid-late game, AD carry is the highest damage per second, so you have to protect him. And he has to communicate to you where is he in the team fight. Like, you have to protect me, guys. I have someone in front of me. Someone tried to take me this out or stuff like this. So I think Creaton is also like doing really good job on that. But at the point, like, I think I'm actually like more shot caller in alternate than I was in SK.
Okay. Because something along those lines, to tie into that point I made before about like being hot-blooded, is something weird, right? I can understand it definitely why a jungler early in the game should do the shot calling. He's setting up the ganks, the early stuff, level 1s, etc. And then in terms of engaging into a team fight, it makes sense because that's what a lot of the champions are for. But I heard from, I think it was Yellow Star told me, like Araneae always wants to fight. No matter what happens, he wants to like get into a fight, start a fight. So does it always work out? Like, are you someone who just like impulsively you call, like, okay, we'll start a fight now? Are you strategizing in the game? What do you like, do you think?
No, I mean, if the early game goes fine for us, I always try to pull like more team fights to just like have like high advantage. But the thing is like the AD carry and the mid laner has to tell me about the summoners and stuff. Like I always try to fight, but if they tell me like no, wait like 20 seconds, I have flash in 20 seconds, or just wait like 10 seconds, I will have cleans or something. Then I will like try to stall the initiation and then try to position myself better to get a good initiation. But it's just like, yeah, I just like probably love data skirmishes and stuff. It's just like a meta game, I love it. And usually like if you watch all my games or alternate games, there are a lot of kills on them because I usually try to pull them.
So when your first alternate team tried to qualify for this LCS spot, now if we look back in time at the names in that list, it's like that's like a group of death. Because Giants did make it in, and Nexus is the team who've just made it in now. Fnatic was in the group. It's like only 2 teams can even get to the next part. But going in, we didn't necessarily know that. Did you really think like, oh, for sure we're going to get out of this group, we're going to make it there and then we're going to qualify?
I think like the point I realized that we're gonna get in was after we lost against Giants. We lost against Giants with a comp that we really liked. It was a pole comp. It was like I think it was Cho'Gath, Jace, and Natalie. And all we do is like get in blue buff control and just like push towers and stuff. We get like so many inhibitors and towers and stuff. We were like winning the game so easy, but at some point, what destroyed us was like that. I think it was 80 Cannon that played really good, and also like Rise with Homeward. It was like he went base and run into us, just like double use one of us and just kill all of us. And we didn't like expect that. I think it was like really early Homeward stuff, so we didn't expect that kind of counter-initiation. And that kind of destroyed us. And at that point we said like, oh, probably we're gonna get out. Even though against Fnatic we were winning, but still like we weren't that confident against Fnatic.
Because one of the reasons when you then get into the next season split, an easy thing that people will try and point to is, oh, it must just be that Creaton came in the team and he's always been known as like an underrated player. What did adding him to the team actually add, do you think?
First of all, adding Creaton in the team add me a friend of my life.
Oh, okay.
Like Creaton is in the team like my friend spirit or something like that. I love him, he loves me, and we are like always together, and that's something like I really enjoy a lot. Like having one friend on your team that you can enjoy playing with him, like solo queues, like pre-main and stuff, and you're shouting with him and you're like so happy all the time and the mood is so good. That's really good. Also what he brought to the team was like a really, really high skill player with like Ethereal, Vayne and stuff. And for me, even though people are still like praying all that stuff, for me he's the best guy in Europe when he wants to be that. Like there's some point that he's just like tired of playing playing League of Legends and he's not that good. But when he's like full dedicated and full like playing League of Legends, for me he's the best AD carry in Europe.
What is he so good at? Because obviously that's the thing people have always said about Europe was like, oh, especially NA players, like, oh, the European AD carries aren't that good. What is he good at? What sets him apart?
I don't know. I mean, we saw like CLG against Alternate, and in both games, the straight 2v2 was like so favorable for Creaton. It was like minute 20, I think he was like already 20 or 30 minutes ahead. If any AD carries are that good, I don't know what is Creaton then, because he has to be a god compared with them. And I think when he joined the team, the good point was like, I remember like his Ethereal was always good, like he was like a god with Ethereal in solo queue. And when he joined the team, he told me like in Millenium he could never play Ethereal. Because the team said like, no, don't play Ethereal. Ethereal is a bad champion. And when he joined me, I always have the same philosophy. I told Creaton, is Ethereal your favorite champion? He said, yeah, I like Ethereal. And I said, then play Ethereal. Don't stop playing Ethereal. Just play the champion you enjoy more the most to play. It's like me, like people are saying Lee Sin is bad, but I don't mind. I love Lee Sin, so I'm just gonna play Lee Sin. And if you enjoy playing with champion, you're gonna become good with that champion is gonna become viable.
So this is actually something someone told me in another one of my interviews. Nuke Duck told me that Alternate is one of the most predictable teams because if you leave Lee Sin open, you leave Ezreal open, you leave Orianna open, they're just going to pick them all for sure. Did you really all just have like a similar champion pool you just kept playing for the whole season? Does it not matter to pick counter picks and stuff?
On season 3, we actually had like some really close champion pool. Still, like people were saying like, yeah, if you let Lee open, Ezreal open, they will pick you. But still, our win ratio with them was really high, so I don't really care what they're saying. Like probably the only problem was 4 Lord picks was really like a small champion pool, so it was really like predictable to know what they're gonna pick. But for example, like Kerb was playing a lot of different champions, and Jerry as well. So I don't know. I think our champion pool on season 4 is going to be really, really fucking huge. Sorry.
No, that's okay actually. It's all right. So when you think of how the summer season rather, went for you in LCS, at the end of the season, it's like, wow, you guys finished like 6th, like what's going on here? But then you look early on, before Creaton breaks his hand, and you guys were like 9-4 at one point, you were leading the whole league. Is it easy to put it out of your mind and go, okay, there was nothing we could do about him breaking his hand, like, it didn't go well. Do you ever look back like, oh, what would have happened if we'd have actually continued with that same lineup? What do you think?
I mean, the first problem wasn't Creaton breaking his hand. The first problem was like Lord went on vacation.
Yeah. Okay.
The first problem wasn't Creaton breaking his hand. The first problem was Lord going to vacation in week 3, I think it was. He went like 10 days to vacation, and he become really like tough skill level. Like his skill wasn't that good at the start. When we start like week 1 and week 2, F-Lord like Lord was like pretty much destroying everyone, or at least going even. And then in mid-late game, our team comms and our playstyle was really good for that, and we were like beating everyone. But in the moment that F-Lord went on vacation, he came back, his level wasn't as good at the start. And then when Creaton broke his hand, I was like, I don't know, I just want to like quit gaming right now, because I was like so disappointed, because it's not only about Creaton playing, it's also about what I said about the friend. Like I lost a friend there, and I feel like so lonely when I'm not with Creaton. So it was like really sad for me, not only for in game, like in alternate, like in the team, also like as a friend, like I felt like really sad about Kubi. And then when he came back, even though like with Ethereal, he's still like really good. With the rest of the AD carries, he didn't have like that high skill or knowledge at that point, and he was getting crushed by almost everyone, and it was kind of sad about that. But he wasn't the main concern why we lost that many games in the last week. It was just about like motivation, and our champion was not really good for it.
When you mentioned there, like when Araneae fell off a bit,